This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don Mcmaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Lenny Avery from Alcona County Commission on Aging. Hi, Lenny.
Hey, Nancy, how are you today?
I'm great. And before we started taping, we were talking a little bit about the center. You've been open and all the innovative things that you did during COVID to keep your seniors socialized and active. Give us a few examples of those.
We laminated cards so that our kids or our people could still play their euchre game, so we could wipe the cards off. We got a grant to do tablets, so we had a lot of people that did not have the ability to have technology at home, so they were able to still FaceTime and Facebook loved ones. If there was a way to try to keep it open, we tried. We bought HVAC machines to purify the air. We had foggers, you name it, we tried it. To just try to keep the socialization, because the senior center is the hub for most of these people's lives in Alcona County.
And so you're open, full open now? Fully
open. We haven't closed our doors, thank God. We haven't had any major cases that crippled us. We had a couple of staff that were affected, but we have been open and fully operational since the beginning.
Wonderful. And today you brought me this wonderful gift.
Yeah, this is
a t-shirt. I Can Help Alcona.
Right, it's I Can Help Alcona, and this is our community assessment of needs. So what we're doing with this is that if you go to the website, www.icanalcona.org, there is a survey that you can take, and that will give us an assessment of some of the programs that we're trying to offer with this new facility. We're trying to do nutrition programs, exercise programs. We're looking at building a 5,000 square foot exercise gym. We're looking at indoor track, those kind of different things where we're looking for the community's input. So you can give your input at that survey. If you think that this is a high need, you can tell us what groups you believe should be targeted, and that data is going to be used to apply for our USDA grant.
And I took the survey. I'm not an Alcona County resident, but I work in Alcona County. I have family and friends who live and work in Alcona County, and I know how important senior centers are in communities and commissions on aging. I know the wonderful services that they provide. So I took the survey, and I'm hoping that I can help make a difference too.
You can, and I believe everyone can help Alcona. It is not just for Alcona County residents like yourself, people who are passed through. We share our resources here in Northeastern Michigan.
Definitely.
So, even if you would visit the center once or twice, it's not just going to be a senior center, it's going to be a community center and a multi-generational facility. That's our goal, is to have all generations from the old to the young to use our facility and to be that community hub for the community. So we are hoping that if you come to Alcona, you would take that survey very seriously, all that data that you put in there. There is a question to ask. If you are a resident, you can identify yourself that you're not a resident. It's not going to be a disqualifier.
Right. And you make such wonderful use of the facility that you have, and I just think of what could happen if you had a larger and more modern and updated space.
Yeah, our current facility space was built in 1945, was an old school, and trust me, I've tried to put a whole lot of new wine and a whole lot of old wineskin. So we definitely we max out the breakers, but we would love to have some type of new facility that not only for us to use but for the community to use, because that's my reason I get up every day, is to what can I do to help the community, and what can I do to make the community better through my service to it.
Okay, give me an idea of some of the things that happen at your center.
So we do our fitness classes in the morning, and we have about 30 to 40 individuals who are doing our health and fitness. We had senior boot camp. We're going to be having January next year Tai Chi. We're going to be offering continued looking at opportunities for employment. We are desperately looking for quality candidates. Candidates, one of our guidelines is you have to pass a background check, you have to maintain drug screening, and we have competitive wages. We have 401 401k, we have vision, dental, health insurance.
Amazing.
You know, and for a community like Alcona to offer those things, we're blessed to be able to give that to our workers. So we're looking for anyone who's interested in jobs. We have tons of jobs available, from clerical to our frontline staff. The services that we provide are second to none. You get to work with state-of-the-art equipment, because we worked really hard over the last year. I think we brought in over $750,000 in new grant funding.
That's amazing.
To buy new vehicles, to buy new equipment, you know, just to make sure that we are doing our best for the residents of Alcona County.
And what about congregate meals?
Congregate meals, this year, we're going to be spicing it up. I talked to our food director. We're going to be adding 6 different items that are just going to change the way we do things. So, you know, maybe like a zesty, maybe like a south of the border, maybe a down home southern feel. But we're going to be spicing up our meals, because I tell people that people who are getting our home delivered meals, that's their only source of nutrition. And they don't want to eat the same thing every day. So we want to make sure that they have a variety. And so we met with the Spice Girls, the Gordon Foods, and they gave us a list of different spices that are not too high in sodium, that are good for people on low carb diets and things like that. So we're going to be spicing up our menu.
Now, do you do Meals on Wheels also?
All the time, yes.
Okay.
So and that program has actually increased.
Okay.
You know, we've had a little bit of taper off over the last couple of months, and unfortunately, due to deaths in our community, we've had probably more than more than a dozen, maybe almost 20 deaths in our community. Some of that due to COVID, some of that's just due to age. But at the height of COVID, we were up 55% in our home delivered meal program.
You know, that's such an important piece, because someone's going into the home, checking on that person, making sure they're okay, opening the refrigerator to make sure there's, no spoiled food in there, and just that checking on them. And it might be the only face or voice they see that day.
We are the first and sometimes the only human contact that person may get. And it may not just be no fault of their own, because they have family members that live out of state. We've had some interesting stories in our home delivered meal programs. Unfortunately, for our home delivered meal drivers, they come into situations that we can't prepare them for, and you get some of that. And unfortunately, that these things happen. But we try to brighten people's day. When we see.
All right, we're just about out of time, Lenny, so give me a phone number for people to reach you about any of the wonderful things we've talked about, or if they want to come and see some of the services there and start partaking.
Absolutely. Phone number to reach us is at 989-334-3466. That's 989-334-3466. Thank
you so very much for being here, and keep up the good work there for all those seniors and other people in Alcona County.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll be right back following these messages. Welcome back. My last guest today is Rachel Burzak, and she is from Hope Shores Alliance. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, and you are the Outreach and Services Coordinator. So what does that job entail?
Oh, lots of stuff. So I coordinate and provide support to our outreach advocates that focus on domestic violence. And I also play a coordinating role in our agency's outreach and prevention work as well. So how we interact with our community, spread our message, make sure people know about the supports and resources that are available, that kind of thing.
Okay, and are there any certain months coming up that you recognize certain events, or?
Yes, ma'am. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we are planning a few activities to kind of honor that month, help educate the community, and create some creative avenues of support and healing for survivors.
And education is so important, because people are afraid to come forward. They think they deserve it. It won't happen again. They have all those excuses and all those reasons. And that education, letting them know you're not alone. This happens, but we can break the cycle. We can stop it. There's things to help you. There are safe houses. There's things we can do. So it's so important for that education and that outreach to reach people.
Absolutely. And not just survivors, but the people that they might disclose to, the people that might turn to them for help, because honestly, Hope Shores Alliance really is like a last resort for a lot of people. Nobody wants to go into shelter, especially now with everything that's happening. That's a scary change to have to make. If we can help teach community members how to receive disclosures in a supportive way, how to understand what the patterns and tactics of domestic violence actually are, so that you understand why this person maybe hasn't left the relationship yet, or why it's taken them so many times, or why they still think that, you know, this person loves them and they're trying to support them and stand by their side. There's so many factors. So if we can help the community understand what those factors are, to step up and support survivors, I think that would make a huge difference for everybody.
You know, and it's not just physical, it's the mental and emotional abuse that sometimes is worse.
Absolutely, and the isolation, which is, you know, so easy to do in a rural community, the resource allocation, you know, not having access to finances, or not having your name on the house deed or ownership of a vehicle so you can go and get yourself help or exit a situation. It can be very tricky.
So what are some things that Hope Shores Alliance does to help people?
So we have a 24/7 help and support line that operates all day and night, every day, even on Christmas. We have some amazing dedicated advocates and volunteers that staff that line, so you can call anytime you want to ask a question, if you need emergency shelter, if you're looking for other support services. We have counseling that we offer, as well as supportive listening advocacy. We will go help people file police reports if that's what they would like to do, or a personal protection order. We'll accompany them to court. Really what Hope Shores does is sit down with a survivor and ask them, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And what can we do to help you feel supported in moving towards achieving those goals? And then we kind of work back from there. We believe in self-determination. At the heart of domestic violence, that trauma is a loss of autonomy. It's a loss of control over your life. The best thing that Hope Shores Alliance staff, or anybody really that's a support person to a survivor, the best thing that we can do is put that autonomy back in their hands, even if they're making choices. You can be in charge
of one thing.
One thing, even if it's a choice that we don't agree with, even if they're making decisions that maybe scare us internally. That's okay. We're not here to make the choices for you. We're here to walk alongside you and support you as you navigate what makes the most sense for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what else do you have written down on your nice little sheet?
My handy dandy notepad. I just wanted to highlight some of the cool stuff we're doing for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We will be sending out a press release to WBKB and other local news outlets that will go into a little bit more detail, but the theme for the month is Survivor Voices, Healing Through Art. So we have partnered with Empower You and the Poetics Lab that operates through Art in the Loft. So we're going to be facilitating a workshop called Art of the Protest and focusing specifically on domestic violence and the feminist movement. And we'll be doing 2 sessions of those on October 18th and 11th.
Okay.
And then we will be hosting an open mic night and candlelight vigil at the end of the month on October 28th, also at Art in the Loft.
Okay.
We'll be inviting anybody who would like to participate in that open mic to sing a song, do a poetry reading, a monologue, anything like that. We will share the process for being able to participate in that. And all month long, we are inviting any survivors or people who are supporting survivors to submit a piece of art. So if they paint, if they sculpt, if they do dance and want to take a video of them dancing, photography, anything like that, you'll get information on how to submit those pieces of art to us with a little caption about what it means to you, and we can share those art submissions on our Facebook page throughout the month.
Wonderful.
Yeah, just trying to give another platform for survivors to share their voices and their healing journey, and hopefully, you know, get some support for themselves, but also support others.
Now, I know hospitals and clinics and law enforcement agencies all know how to reach you, but how would a person who's just experienced this or said, I've had enough, how's the best what is the best way for them to reach you?
So they are welcome to visit our website, hopeshores.org. On there, it has our 24-hour help and support line, as well as our administrative services line, and all of our outreach services lines. Because we cover so many counties and we're so broad, sometimes I would say it's a little bit beneficial to check and see like where you're located, and then call the office that's closest to you. However, worst comes to worst, our help and support line is always a good place to start.
And I know you are reliant on volunteers and reliant on donations from the community, because people mostly come to you with just the clothes on their back and their children's hands in their hands, and you're able to help them from that point on. So I want people just to know that you've been there, you've done that. There's not a situation you haven't been through, so please don't feel you're unique. Get your butt there, get that phone call, do whatever it takes to get there and be safe.
Absolutely. We will not judge you. We are here to listen and do what we can to support you.
Okay, so we have about 30 seconds left, so one more time, what's the best way to reach you?
I would say call our help and support line, which is featured on our website.
And you're drawing a blank on the number.
I am.
That's okay, but just go to Hope Shores Alliance.
Hopeshores.org.
Okay.
If I can run out and grab my phone real quick, I can look it up.
we can maybe add it after, but.
Okay, yes. Hopeshores.org. It has all of our contact information listed on there.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
and
for
thanks
having
for
us.
all of you do in our community.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don Mcmaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don Mcmaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Dr. Nick Brege, Director of Facilities at ACC. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks. Good morning.
Nick, you've been a busy man over the last, well, since you started at ACC, really, but 3 really interesting, important projects for the college. The Van Laer Hall project, Park Arena, gym floor refinishing, and a revamping, repurposing of our welding and manufacturing area. Can we touch base on those 3?
Yeah.
So
sure.
Van Laer Hall, where are we on that?
Well, we're wrapping things up. Just the last few finishing touches, going through the punch list, and it's ready. We're holding classes in there. We've got a vibrant nursing program going on in those advanced labs down on the East End, and it really, you know, a long time, many hours spent, but it's good to see it all come to fruition.
Boy, I hear you on that. The Ruth C. Julian Health Sciences Center is on the east end of the building. That's where the nursing programs are, as you pointed out, with a lot of new technology, both video conferencing and nursing simulators. And just for the viewers, we had an accreditation team in last week, and they were extremely impressed. They were impressed with the nursing program. They were impressed with the facilities and the technology. So these are nursing experts, so that was good to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a donor appreciation event coming up.
Yeah, on October 9th, there's a all donor appreciation gathering there. That's Saturday, and just give an opportunity for everyone to see all the upgrades. Some of them are easy to see, others are kind of hidden.
Yeah.
The mechanical system, there was a lot of work that went into upgrading the HVAC and the heat, the plumbing, electrical, all those things that you can't really see just looking through the building, but makes a huge difference to the occupants and the experience inside.
I agree, and that was a fundamental drive to do the project, was to fix that part of the building. It absolutely needed to be fixed. And the color scheme, the windows, all that looks good to you?
Yeah, it turned out nice. That was a group effort. We had a lot of people involved in those decisions because, well, it's an important permanent decision, and there's a lot of options when it comes to color. So you need somebody with a design eye that can pick out those subtleties.
Yeah, it's hard to find a color that pleases everyone, but I think we landed on a consensus. So great work there. I just want to say, I mean, that you did lion's share of the detail work on that, and there was a tremendous amount of detail work, so I appreciate that.
Yes.
And while you were doing that, you are also involved in resurfacing Park Arena, our floor there, which in normal times this would be a huge project for us.
Yeah, it was on the facilities plan for some time, and it just needed to work its way up the priority list. But our athletic director, Cindy DeRocher, she travels around to all the community colleges and sees everyone else's arena. And like any good athletic director would do, she benchmarks Alpena against these other schools. And so
she would do that.
So she came back and said, Nick, I think it might be time to upgrade our gym floor. It's looking a little bit dated, a little bit old, and just from a maintenance perspective, it was time. There was some delamination of the polyurethane, so we needed to address that. So it was a complete sand down. The crew starts with about a 40 grit sandpaper and works their way up to about 120 grit to get rid of all the old paint markings and all the old finish. And then, as opposed to going and putting the exact same paint down and the exact same logo, we wanted to do something a little bit fancier, something that popped a little more. So our campus beautification committee, we presented some options, and we landed on a design that included some stain, some really neat-looking stains that match our school colors, and a paint scheme that fades from our school burgundy into our school gray, and there's a nice airbrush fade across the center portion of the court along the borders there. So it's an interesting design. It's just not the same plain red color that went back down, or the original color that went back down. So I like it. I think it turned out great. Yeah,
that's a very succinct analysis. Everyone who's seen it really likes it. I like it a lot. The stain part you had referenced, our school colors, the gray around the three-point line, it looks great. And then because it's a stain, you can see the grain of the wood come through.
Mm-hmm. And then there's that dark maroon stain inside the key, and it really highlights that wood grain that you mentioned. So it's it adds a little bit of color to the floor, but yet it still maintains the beauty of the wood through it. So yeah, overall, a great project. We have the new Alpena Community College logo about 20 feet across center court.
Yes.
So that's been updated as well. So all in all, a complete upgrade that should last us another 25 years, like the first finish did.
Yeah, great. And Frank and Judy, if you're up early Sunday morning watching the show, I'm going to spill the beans here. We also put Frank McCourt's name along the sideline in a way that was very appealing to me and a lot of other folks, in recognition of his 41-year career coaching at ACC. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was. It's he put a lot of years on that court.
Yes, he did.
So it was. It's a nice dedication for all those years of service.
Absolutely. So thank you, Nick, for everything you've done. We've got more projects in the hopper, and we'll be back talking about those. Thank you, folks, for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.